Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well, Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
The hidden lands beyond the ice walls. Awakening truth. Let's have a little journey to the old map. This is just a glimpse of the known lands and the near lands. Did you know that there are other worlds and more lands to explore?
talking about maps that were drawn roughly between the 1300s and the 1700s. In other words, in relatively recent history. However, these maps were largely based on much older source maps, which they copied. And we can say that for sure, because one of the famous maps is the Piri Reis map, which was created by a Turkish admiral called Piri Reis in the year 1513. Actually, only a corner of his map has survived. It was originally a world map. We now just have a bit that shows the east coast of South America and North America and the west coast of Africa. Piri Reis writes in that map that it is in his own handwriting that he based it on more than 100 older source maps, some of which had come from the Library of Alexandria. In other words, that maps had been, when the Library of Alexandria had been destroyed in the 4th century AD, some of its contents had been rescued and brought to Constantinople, which became the Turkish capital, and Piri Reis had access to those maps, and he incorporated information from those maps on his maps.
Can a 500-year-old map prove the existence of a lost civilization? Some are convinced the Piri Reis map can. The map, compiled by Turkish explorer Piri Reis in 1513, depicts a very different world than the one known at his time. The map shows the western coast of Africa and South America connecting to Antarctica. Antarctica wasn't officially surveyed or mapped for another 300 years. And stranger still, Antarctica's coastline is shown without ice. Yet the last time the area wasn't covered in ice was 6,000 years before the map was made. Did Piri Reis have access to ancient sources dating back thousands of years? Was the world mapped by a lost civilization more than 15,000 years ago? Some believe it was. And that civilization was highly advanced and had aircraft, satellites, and even spaceships. So what happened to this advanced civilization? Some say they were wiped out by a recent ice age caused by a polar shift 12 to 13,000 years ago. And if true, what other traces of a lost civilization could be out there waiting to be discovered?